Let's talk about some other bitches.
Oh, okay. How did I know you were going? Do you remember that tagline? I'm passionate about dogs, just not crazy about bitches. Oh my God! When I said that, Bravo said, "No, you can't say that." But now I think they'll probably say you're allowed to say that.
I think so. I don't want to ask about the typical things about who said what or anything like that. I grew up in a house.
They said all of it. I said nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up in a house with all women. I've lived my life around women, and there is an inherent undercurrent of viciousness that some women have. Now, on the surface, it's, hey, girl, ooh, you look so good. Let's have lunch. Ooh, I love your nails. But there's an undercurrent of divisiveness. Where does that come from, in your opinion?
I absolutely detest it. I think you should just focus on yourself and being the best that you can be.
Yeah.
You know, I don't...
Yeah.
I never, ever think like that. Of course, the show is based on fun and a few snarky things, but when it gets really vicious and trying to kind of pull each other down, I just don't support that at all.
Yeah.
I think, in this day and age, with the whole kind of bullying and the Me Too movement, I think we're moving towards a kinder environment. I hope so, you know?
Well, what does it take? I mean, when did you realize that it was important for you to, A, stay out of it, but how do you resist it?
Oh, it's not difficult for me to resist it. I'm not going to roll down in the dirt with that. I'm just not going to do it. That's not the way I live my life. It's not the way I've raised my children. And it's not something that, it's not an example I want to set. Never.
Yeah. But, you recognize it's there. But it's not just there with Housewives. It's there with...
It's there all over the world, let's be honest.
And in the Me Too movement and what the changes that are happening, how can we change it? How do we change it? How would we change it in our daughters, and where does it come from?
Well, I think the first step is basically giving people the confidence to actually, speak up and know that they can say, hey, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the first most important thing. But you know what? I don't want to take away the fun in life as well. I was brought up in Europe where, everything was a little flirty. I mean, in France, it was just like, it was just, it was pretty risque.
Well, that's a good point because, a lot of times people say a lot of things, but if you can judge the intent behind what a person says, then you're out of the woods.
Yeah, or if they're holding something over you, like, your job, for example.
Right.
But I'm talking about playful flirting. Please don't stop that.
Yeah.
And I think when we talk about the 80s, I think life was much simpler then.
Yeah.
But I do think it is a time for us to progress, and I think there's a few people that have been held up for an example, a very poor example, and they should be punished for it. They really should. So, moving forward.